Hello beauties, today I just want to have a conversation around cultivating more intimacy with ourselves, with other people and with the greater aspect of life. Had some reflection yesterday around the idea of intimacy, and it's a theme that feels really deeply important to me in my life, and yeah, I just really want to sit with this idea of cultivating more intimacy and what that means to me. Ways to cultivate more intimacy with myself very much for me feel like the ability to be self-reflective, to take that time to notice what I do, how I behave, what I think, how I feel, and from that place always just checking in, is that true? Is that my truth? Is it in alignment with who I am? And how I want to show up and who I want to be. And I think it can be quite challenging at times when you have that self-reflectiveness and you see it for what it is. You know, it can be quite confronting. It can be confronting because it touches an aspect or a part of myself that doesn't always want to admit that, doesn't always want to own up to that piece, and so it can be quite hard to actually see it, to have the awareness for it, and also to bring in that love for it too, the acceptance of it, because the important thing is that when we can accept it, we are enabling that piece to merge with the whole of who we are, and it gives us an opportunity to grow, to keep growing. I think that's the biggest thing as well with regards to intimacy for me, is this continued growth towards depth, towards love, towards grace in my life, in my being. And yeah, so that is something that I'm very much aware of and listening to and cultivating with my own self, and how I relate with these parts of me that aren't always so easy to be with. So how do we cultivate more intimacy with others? What does that look like? For me, that looks like the ability to be open, to stay in relation to another, to receive. It means like to receive, to listen and to receive, and to share as well, almost like from this place of vulnerability. You are exposing yourself and being very much with another in all your flaws and all your beauty and all of who you are, and having that sense of vulnerability when you're sharing. That's when you know you are always staying true to your truth in that moment and with another person. You know, there's simple ways to cultivate more intimacy with others. It could be eye contact, it can be giving someone a smile, it can be hugging them when you feel another body or being in your embrace. It's like you're the same, you can share that and merge, and that for some people is very vulnerable to do that, especially if you are one to really need your personal space or your sense of personal space, and when someone's in and it's like, oh, you know, that's my boundary, or that's too much, it can be just too intense. Cultivating intimacy with others can also look like just acknowledging that even though we're in these separate bodies, having completely often different experiences of life, there is that understanding that we still have that same consciousness moving through our bodies, through our eyes, seeing out. And when you're accessing that sense or place, it allows the ability to let people be who they are, and ourselves very much so, without judgment, without shame or blame. It's like accessing the humanness as well that we are, the humanness that we all are as a humanity, and cultivating that more as the forefront of experiencing others when they're just being and doing them and whatever they're doing. That in and of itself, for me, creates an intimacy, because it's an acknowledgement of that sameness that we are, even though that manifests and presents itself very differently in another individual as opposed to me. It still is that thread of intimate connection to ourselves as humans. Cultivating intimacy in the world, well, I guess the easiest access point is in nature, is through your senses in nature, and experiencing what's always there, what's showing up. What, it can be deeply looking into a plant, deeply looking into a leaf on a tree or a stone on the ground. Yeah, and having a connection to that. I find that really helps build intimacy in life itself. And having an awareness of the cyclic nature of life is another way to understand and develop intimacy. The continual renewal and death of things, the moon cycles, the season cycles, the menstrual cycle within our bodies as women. It's there's natural ebb and flow and cycles in the world and life, and when I fell into that again, that brings such an intimate connection in amongst the mundane of life. Another thing which could relate to all three areas, self, others and the world, with regards to intimacy, it's like the childlike curiosity. What is that? What does that mean? What could that be? What's gonna unfold in this experience? I find, for me, that also helps cultivate intimacy, just that natural curiosity and wonder and awe of what's here now. What is this? What is that? Without any attachment to thoughts or locking anything in. That openness and curiosity cultivates intimacy. And asking the question, why is intimacy so important to me? Why? What do I get from it? I feel it's very much related to the seeker, to knowing, to wanting to discover, to exploring, to know, to grow, to expand, to just bring in and understand and embody. It's like the more intimate I am in myself, in my life, with people that I love, with people I don't even know, it's like that foundation, something can reveal. I want things to ever be revealing. Things are ever revealing, they're ever changing, they're never the same, and constantly moving and changing and weaving and flowing and revealing and dying and revealing again. And it's just that constant movement, and that excites me. And understanding that and knowing more of that in my felt, embodied experience of life, what that does, it just makes me want to bubble up. I can really feel the expansiveness of that. So that's what I very much like about being intimate with the very fabric of life itself.